But that's the easiest way to actually gain more weight as well. And like I said, it actually prolongs, believe it or not, the recovery process. You're gonna save so much time and so much energy. You don't wanna go up too heavy, too fast. But when you go to new gyms, man, make sure you're actually utilizing the different types of equipment that you don't have access to at your regular gym. This actually helps you understand what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And for those who already know, I'm a big fan of machines. It is what it is. It's easy to keep the tension in. I don't have to work as hard. It's easier for me to load the muscle that I'm trying to train. And then two, like I said, it's an easier way for me to shock the body without all the dancing because each machine is built different. Like I said, Lifetime is different from Cybex. Cybex is going to be different from Matrix. Matrix is going to be different from Hammer Strength. So make sure you're incorporating these different things because even though it may be mimicking the same movement as a shoulder press, leg curl, leg extensions, it does shock the body and challenge the body in different ways. I'm a big fan of hoist machines is a great example. So if you're somebody that's really trying to like rehab an area, use hoist machines because hoist machines, what they do is because of the rock within you performing the exercise, it allows you to keep the tension in the muscle without having to stress ligaments, tendons, or joints. So just be mindful of those little things. When you're going to different gyms, try the different equipment just to see what works for you. Don't keep using the same thing that you use at each and every gym. Because some gyms do have some of the same things. But like I said, when you go to that different gym, make sure you shock the body by trying something different. Another tip I want you to be mindful of is this time around, I'm in the starting phase of my lift heavy, but I want to prep my body for the first month. So what I mean by prepping my body for the first month, if you've been noticing my training, what I've been doing is making sure that I go heavy on the last set of each rep. This time, we're trying to go as heavy as possible each and every set. But what I generally would do is, before I actually get to my working set, my filler sets, I would do 15, 20 reps. This time around, I'm gonna be 100% real with y'all, I'm not going that route. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep it between 3 to 6 reps within the filler sets, just to kind of see how the body feels. So that way, without having to do the 15, 20 reps, I don't have to stress my body, because at the end of the day, even though the weight is light, you are still taking away from the energy that can be utilized in the heavy lift. And my biggest thing is, like I said, I want to lift as heavy as possible, and I don't need to keep doing filler sets each and every time that I train. And I generally used to do, I would say, probably like 3-4 sets of filler sets, and then actually go into 4 sets of the actual exercise. So I'm not going to do all of that this time around, because at the end of the day, I want to try to potentially maximize as much muscle growth as I can. And like I said, that is more so meant for conditioning and toning the body, because like I said, at the end of the day, a lot of volume is going to kill muscle. And actually this time around, I'm trying to maximize as much muscle as possible. I ain't gonna figure, I'm not the biggest fan of this, only because I like holding down like this. But like I said, something new, something to adjust to, so let's get it. Oop, wrong leg. Remember, make sure that squeeze at the bottom right here, important. This would initially be the second set. One thing I do want you to be mindful though too, is you gotta be very cautious. And this is why I say document what you're doing. Document your weight, document your reps, document your sets, because you don't wanna go up too heavy, too fast, because at the end of the day, when it comes down to that next set, it can actually hinder you from how much weight you should be lifting or could lift. So be very strategic. And that's another reason why, like I said, I like doing progressive overload, because it's a lot easier for me to kind of catch the sweet spot to make sure that I'm not overworking myself, so I don't miss out on a few reps from what I could potentially do. Like I said, don't bite off too much as you can chew. I've done this a couple times where I'm like, oh, I can lift this weight, not realizing that I kind of added too much too early. And what that did was hinder me from the next working set. So do me a favor and make sure that we're going up in the right manner. Very important to be able to maximize the potential growth that you want. But we going up. I want to see what I can do on 100. I want to see what I can do on 100. One thing I will admit, it's a lot easier for me to adjust. So on this top set, I still am trying to chase 10. Still trying to chase 10. But at the end of the day, if I do 6, that's not a problem. What I'm gonna do from there is I'm gonna start drop setting a little bit more. And this is another reason why I'm a big fan of using machines, because you can easily switch the pen instead of having to deload a lot of the plates or the weight or the dumbbell, change out the dumbbell. So I always say, if you drop setting, man, You're gonna save so much time and so much energy from just using the machine to drop set, because you can easily just switch out the pin. So for those who do not know, right now we still recovering from this ankle injury, or ankle sprain at the end of the day. Like I said, I was looking forward to take anywhere between 2 to 3 weeks. Right now, I think we're approaching 2 weeks itself. But I'm gonna be real with y'all, man. I'm real butthurt right now, and I ain't gonna fake. I'm butthurt because my first week I was planning on jumping back into the squats, jumping back into the deadlifts. But at the end of the day, I just want you to understand: don't get discouraged when you have an injury. Just make sure you're properly prepping yourself and go through the necessary steps to get you back where you want to be. So I got to keep it real and always reassess how you got injured. For me, lack of hydration. At the end of the day, I did not nourish my body, and I realized that I had already started pushing my body to the max before I actually went into the basketball game that I went into, and I hyperextended. I overstepped, unusual step that I generally don't take. But like I said, I should have left the court a long time ago before that shit even happened. I won the first game, lost the second game, and I was like, you know what? We're gonna play one more. We ended up winning the last game, but at what cost? I got injured. So I always try to get people to understand, if you're somebody that's not properly nourishing your body, you do need to understand and know your limits at the end of the day. Because the worst thing you can do is get injured. You don't want to get injured, y'all. The worst thing is getting injured, because now you gotta reassess how you do things. You gotta kind of scale back a little bit more. For me, something that's been helping me is the fact that I already am fully aware of how to rehab the body. Like I said, if you're somebody that's really trying to rehab the body, one of the best things you can do is start doing pool workouts. I'm telling you, the resistance from the water is going to give you the proper resistance to kind of help strengthen the area without overstressing it. So your recovery is going to be a lot better. And then too, like I said, once you get out that pool, I don't know who do pool workouts and don't want to eat right after the pool. So it's easy to make sure that you're actually nourishing the body after the workout. And I keep telling y'all, this is very important. Get away from all the junk food, all the processed food when you're trying to rehab. You're going to rehab a lot better if, like I said, you listen to your body. That's one. You focus on clean and proper eating, because it's going to increase the recovery process. And last but not least is make sure you're giving your body an adequate amount of rest. Don't do that. Don't do a scenario where you keep overstressing the area when the area is tight, meaning using a foam roller, massage gun. Those things can actually hinder you at the end of the day. If you use a massage gun, make sure you're using the right attachment to make sure that you're not creating unnecessary tension that is prolonging the process of the recovery. So do me that favor, man. You need to pay attention to a lot of these things, mainly if you want a speedy and healthy recovery. Like I said, clean up the eating. It's going to help out tremendously. Get more smoothies, get more juicing in, throw some salads in there. Like I said, stay clean as possible. Stay away from the junk food, because a lot of people like to indulge in a lot of junk food and craziness when it comes down to their injuries, because they feeling some type of way. Mainly if you're somebody that's been eating clean before and now you're like, oh, I'm injured, blah, blah, blah. I can kind of do what I do. But that's the easiest way to actually gain more weight as well. And like I said, it actually prolongs, believe it or not, the recovery process. So make sure you keep it clean. And please, please, I can't stress this enough, make sure you're not doing things that you used to do. For example, if you walk at 20,000 steps a day and you got an ankle injury, man, you can't walk 20,000 steps right now. Scale it back so that you can actually get back to what you were able to do. But if you keep trying to do the things you were doing before you were injured, like I said, that's just going to prolong the recovery process. So we need to be smart and strategic in regards to how we take care of our bodies. Listen to your body. Your body's going to let you know when you're doing too much. It's the last one. We're going to do 120. We'll see what we can do on this too. I'm a little nervous. Woo. Yeah, I'm feeling that. Sheesh. Feel good too. Gotta be able to get out of the machine, you know.